Hey guys, this is Darlene and welcome back to my channel Earth and Medicine. So in this video I'm actually introducing my new horse Sunny. In this first clip, this is actually Sunny at his original home. This is at my aunt's property in Northern California, and you can just tell by how green it is. It's definitely in the winter there and everything is just so beautiful. So Sunny is a 6-year-old Welsh pony. He has been halter broken and he has had a saddle put on as well as one person on his back in the past. And so he is definitely pretty green, and my aunt actually gave him to me as a gift and as a project pony. So this is my first time meeting Sunny, and just on first impression, he's definitely really energetic. He's a beautiful mover. He really covers a lot of ground with his stride, and he loves to run. So this is just really exciting and just really fun to watch him, and I definitely really liked him right away. So we just kind of let him run, and he just did laps and laps around the arena and just really got a lot of his energy out. I was just kind of observing him and just seeing how he interacts with people, and he's just so energetic. I can tell, he's definitely going to be a lot of work. So Sunny is actually out of one of the stallions that my aunt has, and he was a really great show pony and was just such a wonderful family pet. So Sunny is definitely really sentimental to me as well as to my family, and I'm really excited about learning how to start colts, and this would be the first horse that I actually take on as far as pretty much starting them in riding. So here we're just kind of getting to know him. He's definitely pretty pushy, and he's kind of mouthy. He kind of tries to nip me a few times. Definitely pretty nervous about a lot of things. He gets worried, and you can tell right here he's a little bit nervous about this trailer, even though he's seen it so many times. And he's kind of crowding my space a little bit when he's nervous, and then he pulls his head down to eat, and so he definitely needs just a lot of work as far as ground manners and just respect training. So I was really excited to be able to use what I had been learning with the Clinton Anderson training videos. So all of the things I'd been learning already with my horse Candy as far as groundwork and manners training would really come in handy with Sunny. So you can kind of just tell right now, he's kind of walking all over me. He's pushing into me with his shoulder, not really respecting the halter and the pressure from the lead rope. He's nippy and just generally disrespectful. So I'm still just kind of getting to know him here, and he's pretty pushy. It's interesting kind of looking back now because he's gotten so much better since I've been working with him. He still needs work, but he's gotten better about respecting my space and respecting the pressure from the halter and the lead rope, and just his leading has gotten so much better. This was Will, my sister's boyfriend, leading him, and he's a little bit more than 6 feet, so he makes Sunny look pretty short. But I think Sunny's probably a pretty good size for me. So this is actually Sunny's dad. This is Keel. He, I believe, is over 30 years old. He's a Welsh pony, and this is my boyfriend Tristan leading him back into his stall.
Hey everybody, my name's Darlene and welcome back to my channel Earth and Medicine. So I'm here today with my new Welsh pony Sunny. He is a 6-year-old and he has pretty much the basics for training. He's taken a saddle before and he has had 3 rides so far, just kind of getting on and being led around. So today I've just been working on groundwork. I've been pretty much going through the Clinton Anderson method with him. This would be the 2nd week that I've been working with him. I did a lot of round penning and then I did some desensitization with the plastic bags and the boxes. And then I put the saddle on, did some more lunging on the lead rope, and then also did some sending exercises with him. He's a really good boy. I really enjoy working with him. And he's just a sweetie pie. He likes to be pet and cuddled. So he did really well and I'm really excited to just kind of keep working with him and to get on him again.
This is Sunny and me back at the ranch in Las Vegas, and today I was actually starting out with doing some desensitization to lots of noisy things. So I made this contraption where I just tied a bunch of plastic bags and a wooden box and a milk carton and some plastic water bottles to some baling twine, and I was just using this for desensitizing him. He's very worried about most things, and I didn't want to get in a wreck out in the desert because there's a lot of plastic bags just kind of stuck to plants out there, and I wanted him to be really comfortable with that. I also just want him to be comfortable with things that make noise. So the plastic water bottles are a pretty common thing that cause horses to spook, especially when you're on their back and you grab your water if you're on a long distance endurance ride. And the water bottle makes a crinkling sound and the horse spooks. It's just a source of, possibly falling off your horse. So I wanted him to get used to it right now on the ground, and this is just a really good exercise also for him to learn to trust me and to relax and to recognize when I'm taking away pressure and when I'm putting on pressure. So I would wave it around and just make a lot of noise, and once he stood still, I would keep doing it until he showed me signs of relaxing. So if he stood still for about 15 seconds, that would be a time where I'd take away pressure, or if he stood still and cocked his back hind leg, or if he took a deep breath, or he licked his lips, or he dropped his head to smell the bags or the water bottles, then that would definitely be a sign of relaxation. And then I'd take away the stimulus, so I would stop shaking it, or I just kind of hold it still, and I would relax my body language. And that would be the release of pressure. So he did really well with this. He definitely ran around a lot, and I was also kind of working on not letting him just run around and around and around me. I would kind of bump his nose back towards me so he could run sideways or he could walk backwards really quickly. But I didn't really let him just run circles forever around me, because with really hot horses, they'll just keep running, and you'll actually start sensitizing them to the stimulus versus getting them to realize you want them to relax and to stand still. So that's just something I do. I bump his nose back so he's kind of looking at me, giving 2 eyes, and I don't let him keep running around for too long. So he was doing so well. I was actually able to touch his nose with a plastic bag And then I was able to rub his face, and eventually I did just rub his whole body with the plastic bag. And I did the same thing with the box and the milk carton, as well as the water bottles. And with the water bottles, I really made a ton of noise with them. So I was so proud of him for just learning how to relax and just kind of to ignore all those sounds. I moved on to doing some flexing with him. I started on one side and I reached down the length of the rope and I pulled with some pressure until I could put my hand back to his withers, and then I let him bring his head around the rest of the way. Once he touched his nose to his belly, I released it and I pet him. So this is just teaching him to give to pressure with his face and with his nose. Horses can get really stiff in their neck and they can really pull on you with their mouth, and this is just something I really want to start with him early. This exercise on the ground is really important because this is the foundation for the one rein stop and pretty much any lateral flexion while riding. So I did a ton of flexing just here on the ground like this. I also wanted to get him really good at flexing while just in the halter. I've actually pretty much done all of my training just from the halter, even the riding, and I always put a snaffle bit in his mouth, but I actually just attach the reins to the halter because I want him to be really great at riding just from a halter. So pretty much someone can just jump on him bareback and ride him from a halter, and you don't need to have a saddle and a bridle to ride him. So this is why I've been doing it pretty much just from a halter first, and then eventually I'll actually start riding him using the bit. I then start doing the human curry comb method. This technique pretty much just helps him get used to me jumping up and down, making a lot of motion next to him, and just kind of getting any like flinchiness out of him. This will help with preparing to ride, because there's just a lot of commotion when you're getting on your horse, and this really desensitizes them to all of that. This is also just a safety method because I'm just halfway on him. If he were to run off and go bucking, I would just slide off him really well, and so I'm still in a position of safety. So I just hop up and down and just kind of move all over him and then reward him when he stands still, and he really did well here. I try to get a little bit of bend in his neck towards me, just also as a safety mechanism. When his neck is bent towards me, it's very unlikely that he's going to be able to go and run off because I've pretty much disengaged his front end. So I just keep hopping up and down, and I swing my leg up over his butt, and he flinches a little bit, but he doesn't really get too worried about it. I do the other side, making sure to do a lot of jumping up and down before I actually jump over and lean over his back. I swing my legs a lot, kind of make a lot of noise. I pet him. When I'm leaning over him like that, I rub his butt and I rub his belly and his neck, and just get him used to just feeling all of this motion all over his body. I make sure to swing my leg up and over his butt here. Clinton Anderson, actually, they fully get on the horse, so they're pretty much laying across the horse, and I didn't feel comfortable doing that just because this is my very first time doing this, and so I felt a little bit safer just putting one leg up over his butt. He kind of walks back here and is kind of pulling against that rope, but I didn't really feel unsafe, and so I just kind of kept going. So then I move on to saddling him. I had saddled him maybe 10 other times before this, and so this wasn't really a big deal for him at all. So I put the saddle on him here, and he's pretty calm. He's actually quite a mellow horse, and you know, certain times he does spook about things, but then he kind of gets really quiet after that. It's really good at the cinch, and so I just quickly do this up, and then I do the back cinch. I always use a back cinch with him just because it's just for safety. If he were to go bucking while I'm riding him, the saddle's less likely to flip up with the motion of him, so it makes the saddle more stable and it makes me have more safety while I'm riding him. So I just start some lunging for respect. Here he's getting a little bit nervous because of my GoPro on the ground, but I just kind of get him moving, and then I ask for changes of direction. So I disengage his hindquarters, and then I point the other direction, and I swing the rope and send his front end first, and then ask for him to increase speed once he's changed directions. Here, disengage the hindquarters, and I really exaggerate my motion because this is pretty new for him still. I actually use the handy stick now, but when I first started doing this with him, I just felt more comfortable just using the rope. And he actually did respect my motion pretty well, even without the stick. When he's moving to the left, so going around this circle in the counterclockwise direction, he tends to push in with his shoulder a little bit more. And so this is something where it would help to have the handy stick to kind of get him to respect my space more. And later, I actually do use the handy stick for this. So I was doing a lot of this because it really does help with them respecting my body language as well as my space. And this also gives me time to slowly do up the cinch in the saddle. If I do a lot of groundwork before riding, I'm able to slowly do up that cinch, and so it keeps horses from getting really cinchy. Horses get pretty cinchy if you do their girth up really tight the first time, or like even with the first 2 or 3 times. And so if you do it nice and slowly like this, you're pretty much hitting all of your marks. You're building respect with your horse, you're building trust, and then you're also able to do their cinch up nice and slowly. So now I have the handy stick, and I do have the string on it, which makes it a little bit heavier, so I'm a little clumsy using the stick with the string. And you can see right there, he really pushes in on me with his left shoulder. So here I tap him with the handy stick on that left shoulder, asking him for some space. Ask him to back up there. He tends to crowd me a little bit. And then I send him back the other way. And this is the sending exercise. So I was really happy that he just walked there, and then he disengaged his hindquarters.
Alrighty, you guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have any advice in the comments. Let me know what works for you for starting colts and starting them under saddle. If you like this video and the other videos on my channel, be sure to like and subscribe, and join me here next time.